Much for the introduction, my good compadre, co-clairvoyant.
Mike's real low there now again, Dan. Go ahead.
Yeah, buddy, you need to talk up a little.
Hello, hello, hello.
There we go. Oh, much better.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, now that we got all of our audios
Oh,
in sync,
few more decibels higher. Here, kind of
a
thing.
few more decibels higher. Let me see if I can.
The other way.
Hold on a second, Scott. Let me see if I can.
Really can't hear you, Dan.
Yeah. I'm working on that real quick here. Hold on. Testing the audio.
Yeah, why don't you go up to File with respect to the GoToMeeting, go to Webinar, and there's a little audio setting that you can configure.
Make sure you're on the right mic, I think.
Chat for a little bit or do our disclaimer. I'm going to log off and log back on.
There you go. You're right back. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so cool.
There you go. All right. Start over.
Such a long time. It's like
just like yesterday.
Just like yesterday. Brad, fellow clairvoyant compadre, how are you?
I'm good. We find each other here on Wednesday again.
Once again.
Nice to talk to you.
I am so excited about today because, as you know, we live in some of the most exciting times in the world. And before we get into them, ladies and gentlemen, we have to disclaim them because of lawyers. So, Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. All the information that you're going to hear from myself, Scott, Brad, Barry, or anyone associated with Trade Ideas is for educational and informational purposes only and not to be construed as, Brad, you know what? Registered investment
advice.
No, senor. Okay, moving right along. This has been a theme of our Q&A presentations. We're talking about using the past to prove the future, but it shouldn't be so mystical and magic. It's real. It's behavior analysis. It's how the FBI finds serial killers, how agencies use intelligence to infiltrate their counterparties, a lot of stuff in Sun Tzu's Ancient Art of War. It's analysis. But Brad, we've got to really, before you can really move forward, what do you have to do?
You must stop. We haven't talked about this, but you must stop chasing your tail.
Right, and and this is where I have to get a little bit off on the evildoers. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so glad that you're here because you have to know you're being lied to by the mainstream financial media. What are they lying to you about? Well, they're lying to you about this thing called technical analysis. It's this thing that has been, it's this carrot that's been dangled in front of the nose of the individual investor since, Brad, the market's probably been open because, you know, the Japanese figured that stuff out like 1,000 years ago.
That's right.
And by the way, we're still using their 1,000-year-old candlesticks, just so you're aware of the progress.
Ancient Japanese candlesticks.
That's right. That's right. Japanese candlesticks are still the primary way we view data. In other words, 1,400-year-old technique. So think about that for a little bit. So why am I saying stop it, bad boy, Brad?
I don't know. Tell me.
You have been taught to ask for something that you don't need. If you go to any of our competitor, whether it's FinViz, TC2000, or whoever you want to name, Ninja Trader, TradeStation, Every Station, AM radio station, Brad, you know all the competitors. If you go to them and you click on the drop down of the technical analysis, what you're going to see is so many choices that if you had to give each one of those choices a day, you would be 7,000-year-old by the time you got done figuring out what was going on. So,
I mean, how do you figure out which analytical tool to use? Is it RSI? Is it Williams? Is it moving average, MACD, stochastics? Pick it.
Well, you can't. And notice what you see here, Brad, which we jump right to the next thing. Guys, the most important stuff, you have more than you know. All the information is available. It's just a question of if you do or don't want to admit it. It is there. So look at this screen, Brad. Is this e-signal? It looks like. I don't remember where I took it from, you know.
Hey, it's any number of different charting platforms, right?
Right. But what do you see there? I mean, at the very top, what do we have here? It
I see
looks
a
like a
price
stock
chart
chart.
with moving averages.
Yeah, two moving averages. Kind of common. At least that way, maybe you see which way the overall thing is flowing if you squint.
Yeah.
Then
Probably
you have,
RSI below that.
then you've got what looks like an MACD. Then you've got some other. Again, I'm not squinting, but the point of it is, ladies and gentlemen, this is what the bullshit is. No matter the fact that these things exist and they oscillate back and forth, there is no predictive deterministic value to any of them, singularly, or for that matter, in any one time frame. Brad, what do I mean by that? I should ask myself that same question.
Well, I think what you mean by is like if you're trying to find an edge and your edge is, let's say, RSI, are you trying to say that anytime an RSI moves from 85 to 80, this is going to be a good sell indicator? I mean, something like that, right?
Exactly. And the thing is, it can happen, but it's not systematic. In other words, it's random. I'm going to prove to you guys that this is the real deal. So what I want you to see is, so everybody, you guys see all of this, right? The wiggly lines, you all have this, right? The wiggly squiggly lines, the technical indicators, they are the seatbelt of the current auto industry. I take that backward. No, seatbelts are good. There are whoopee, our lolly, the trader lolly.
It gives us that comfortable confirmation, right?
That's right. But what people don't realize is it's the confirmation to do nothing. This is a trick. Let me now get into a little bit of proof. I mean, by the way, guys, Brad and I, what we're doing here, it's like, Brad, you and I are sitting in a hurricane of innovation wind. I'm about to show these kids a little bit of something. Okay?
It's what we do for fun.
This is what we do for fun. So number one, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about how to make money also, but I'm just trying to get you guys to see why you're here and what it is that we're doing and why we are the only ones that do it. Okay, so I'm going to look at an event. And we've done this before, but it's still useful. I'm going to start from scratch. And I'm going to search and I'm going to say RSI. And we've got lots of different ways you can slice it and dice it. Brad, pick your RSI. Pick your poison.
5 minutes.
Okay, 5-minute RSI. We're going to add the filter, and we're going to say it's going to be something super juicy like 75, which means it's bullish, right? And I'm going to go here, and I'm going to erase this and erase that, but I'm going to keep 300,000 for volume, and let's say 1% gainer for the stock, so that it's bullish, so that I have more chances, right, to see if this RSI works in any way, shape, or form. And then as a trigger, and people often, again, if you don't know trade ideas, you know that you have to sort of configure the universe and then configure the trigger. Here, the trigger is a new high, which is fine. In other words, the stock is bullish, it's going out, and I'm going to call this breaking out on RSI. Brad, have I made any mistakes?
Nope, it should work.
Okay, so let me show you what that looks like at the very end of the day. Notice right away, Trade Ideas showed you something. So here's what it looked like. But now that I see this, and I can see what's happened today, you can kind of see, this is the power of our technology. You can kind of give yourself the replay, right? What's going on? What did this look like?
You can always bring in that RSI column to see if you want to filter.
Totally. So, but that kind of gets into the weeds.
Yeah, you're right.
So the point is, you have all of this information at your disposal with Trade Ideas. You can dig and dig and dig, but we're talking about why technical analysis doesn't work. So I'm going to say, okay, I found my RSI strategy, and I'm going to just go from the open to the close, test everything. Okay, I'm going to trade the whole day just because and I'm going to hold it till the end of the day because I'm not some day trader, although we'll get to that later. Okay, so very, and I just want to see, I don't need to apply risk management yet because I'm just trying to see which way the wind is blowing. It's simple. I'm trading all day, no stops. I'm looking at 30 days worth of data, and I'm getting in when the RSI gets high on the 5-minute. Let's go. Brad, I said, let's go. So the first thing that you're seeing is the software is right now not doing anything on my computer. What it's doing is it's picking up its Flintstone automobile, cruising all the way to our data center in San Diego. Right, Brad?
That's right.
Stopping there, Fred Flintstoning its finger into the security area, asking how to solve all these problems. Fred Flintstone just solved 2,941 trades for you. And Brad, and ladies and gentlemen, as your Sherlock, I feel like Sherlock Holmes, you know, at the end of a movie. Brad, what have I shown?
Well, since I wasn't looking, you have shown what this strategy will produce from a winning perspective, how many trades that occurred for this particular strategy, what your profit factor is. Profit factor, by the way, is the total of all your winning trades over all your losing trades. So a 1 would be the equal number of winners over losers. This is not 1, this is bad. So your
Right.
winner is, your average winner is less than your average loser. That's also probably not a good metric.
Well, absolutely. The other thing, though, is notice that the success rate is not that high. So you right away kind of get a feeling from all this red that does it look that good?
Does not look that good. I think we've lost you, Dan.
No, you didn't lose me. I'm just want people to see it. So from a 5-minute standpoint and holding it all day, it's not that good of an idea, right? You just can't make any money. But what people don't know is that, well, you can ask lots of different questions. Here we're holding off all day, but what about 30 minutes? Important stuff you guys are learning because, again, Brad and I, since we invented this technology, we've kind of had, you know, a 13-year head start. But the point is that we have learned something so critical. So here we held all day. Here we held for 30 minutes. Still no good. Let me show you something else. What if we said, well, hell, the long way doesn't work. What about the short way? So, number one, Brad, what just happened? I mean, this is critical stuff we're talking about.
I mean, we're gonna lose overall with commissions, but if you look at the top line, that's your gross without commissions, and it's telling you that there's probably not a lot of follow through in the last 30 trading days as a whole. I mean, you know, obviously there's.
Well, remember, hold on. I think you missed something, which is I switched directions.
That's right. You're shorting a high, so I'm saying that there's not a lot of follow through to highs.
Right. I thought that maybe people didn't quite understand that. So what I've learned right now from running a simple test is that, well, where am I? If I was going to bet in a certain direction, which direction would it be better to bet?
Well, in this case, it would probably be better to bet short, but there are so many other scenarios to take a look at, right? But
right. So
from what you've shown us, short.
Correct. So ladies and gentlemen, so this exercise that Brad and I are doing, that we just did, number one, kind of showed you that RSI doesn't really work by itself. And by the way, we could go through every single one of our indicators and the end results are the same. There's even something kind of almost more interesting. Let me show you. So you can go to configure anything, really. I'm going to, again, start from scratch, and I'm going to select the 20-day moving average. And I'm going to add that as an alert. And I'm going to say something like, so when you add, oh, whoops, sorry, hold on. So between $1 and $50, then I'm going to say add the defaults and trades at least half a million to see. And I'm saying 20-day SMA. And again, don't worry about the spelling, it's all fine. So here you can see, I'm going to just get rid of this, what that might look like. Again, this stock has been coming down, just had a little crossed above the 20-day. So now we ask the same kind of question. Now it doesn't have any kind of indicator in it, just has a moving average. Does that work? Notice the numbers. Brad, this is something that you and I kind of clued on to in the early 2000s, is that when you spin the dice or when you throw the dice at the market, this number, this 44 something number, 44.6, 44.3, this is basically the random sort of distribution of what you get when you guess by yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
Now here, again, this test that Brad and I are doing, which is something no one else can do on their software. You guys can't do this on any other technology platform other than Trade Ideas. Okay, which is we're saying, well, what's working right now? If I'm just throwing, darts at it. Well, guess what? Right now, if you're throwing darts at it, you better be throwing some short darts. So you just learned something very important here, okay? So we talked about the fact that, whoops, of course I'm on the wrong version. I'm on test. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I was giving you a little different environment. I've got a very advanced version of the software, Dan's Blockchain Trade Ideas Pro, not to be confused with the non-blockchain Trade Ideas Pro that Brad has. Oh, you didn't know that, did you, Brad? The name change there. Okay, so all the things that Brad and I just showed you that we did manually, okay, we've automated that whole process into a systematic approach for you to extract money. So what do we say? Why did we invent this AI? Why do we have it? Why are we one of the fastest growing good guy software providers out there? Well, it's kind of simple. Number one, remember what we said. The institutions, the big brokers, and by the way, there's kind of a spiritual aspect to it, because Brad, you and I, we've worked so hard. At one point, we thought that the way to get this to you guys was to license this to all the online brokers. Remember?
We did. We thought that was the Holy Grail.
We thought that was the Holy Grail. And thanks to the work of one of our partners on the East Coast, we've succeeded. We had Scottrade, we had E-Trade, but the other ones didn't really bite. And it dawned on us, really, over the course of the years of trying to continue and invest in selling, showing them, look how far we've gone. Look what we can do for the individual. Look what we can do for the average investor. We can make them more profitable. We can make them trade more. They didn't care because they just wanted your assets, because that's what the game has been transformed. And that's how it ties into the technical analysis. They will continue to throw indicators at you until you turn purple and pink, but they will never give you the ability to do what I just showed you, to really test something. Oh, they'll give you some fake testing like that TradeStation stuff where you can try to test an indicator, but not what we just did, where you test an event and you test it across a scenario, the way that football players prepare for games, or boxers prepare for opponents, or MMA fighters study tape. That's what Brad and I just showed you when we did that proof that technical indicators by themselves do not work at all. And so how did we solve the problem, and what do we do with it? And that's why today's webinar, Brad, is really a tale of keeping it between the lines. Okay, we're going to talk about how do you navigate this information that we give you. Because let's face it, if it was super easy, right, everybody would just be getting rich. Brad's probably left to go to the bank already.
Well, no, I mean, it's definitely not easy.
So one of the ways that we have tried to distinguish ourselves, and I'm going to move some of this around so that I can display the information a little bit better. So what I'm doing here, I'm only rearranging the windows. You don't really need to see the single stock window for this part of the presentation. So these were all the trades that the Trade Ideas Artificial Intelligence had today. And today, let me see, where did it go? Minus 7 cents, but there was so much volatility, but we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Again, moving everything around. This also shows you that the software is very customizable, so I can kind of make it whatever I want it to make it. I want to make it one layout, I can do that. I want to make another layout, I can do that. So I'm showing you how I took the windows that I had, and now I'm making them just a little bit different so everyone can see. So this is the daily chart, and this is the intraday. The first thing that we did was, instead of going the route of this, which doesn't tell you, like over here, and again, you will see this at our competitors' websites or platforms, this doesn't tell you to do anything. This tells you to look at this, and when something happens, maybe something will happen. Same with this. It doesn't work, okay? We crunch the numbers, and we display actual entry points on the graph. Boom, the AI says buy here. The stop is right here. Volatility happens, you get out. So what you're learning here is visually how to navigate and manage risk, something that no other platform is doing for you. Here's another example. ALDR, entry, again, you can see it, and the continuation. But our friends always say, well, Dan, how do I know, like, what if I'm someone who isn't there at the exact time that everything took place? How do I know what to get into and what to not get into? What is the way that I can better utilize this data? We get these questions, right, Brad?
Oh yeah, all the time. Probably
So
one of the bigger questions.
Yeah. So what I want to do today is focus on the concept called keeping it color-coded and between the lines. Everyone can see that the positions are coded blue. Blue means that this stock and the direction are working for you. These are the winners. All throughout the day, whichever thing is working, risk on or risk off, the winners are highlighted in blue. So if you come in, you would scroll through the blues and see which one of them looked appealing to you. If they are in blue, that means it's working for the AI and it can continue to run. We call this follow the blue rabbit. All throughout the day, you want to follow the blue. That's how you transition from risk on to risk off. And there's classes that are being created so that you understand how to work this technology. One of the things that we've done is adjusted our teaching to a more university style, where it's not specifically one-on-one, but it's university where there's advanced, medium, and beginning classes, and that way everyone gets to learn not just from the teacher, but from the people as well.
Hey Dan, let me point something out here, because it's really interesting when you have it sorted in this fashion. We have all these blue stocks up on the top there, but if you kind of bring your eyes over to the far right column, you're going to see why the system really told you to either exit the position in risk off mode. And predominantly, it's not always the case, but predominantly these are timed exits. That means we're just getting out of it because the time horizon's expired. And so that does require sometimes a little bit of critical thinking. Is this something that you should stay in perhaps, and or just get out? This isn't really meant to be a red light, green light, follow it like a monkey type of system.
There's an intelligence to it, and there's also different levels of risk. Like, for example, I want to show you a discussion I had with a fellow subscriber and what he does with the system. When he comes in, and he doesn't always come in at the open, he's more on the doctor side of the equation. He looks and he finds things that are closer to the entry and gets into those. But here's the interesting part that he does. And then he manages it on the lines. If it goes below the exit, he gets out. So that's how he enters. But here, if it breaks the stop, he reverses direction. And that's something that we have been talking about to more of the advanced user set, that in and of itself is yet another way to do it.
And Dan, just to highlight what the red last cell indicates, it's really telling you that the stock right now is trading below the stop price.
That's right. And that's why we're talking about following. So here, for the long side, you follow the blue, but for the short side, you follow the red. And here's the example of what this gentleman does. So here, he would get in, have to be, holds it for 10 minutes, I guess, gets out because it's down, gets out after the stop, but he reverses direction and then treats this as his stop. Do you see what I'm saying, Brad?
Yeah, I do.
Do you guys follow what I'm trying to say? Very, very important stuff. This trading between the line is a simple methodology that gives you yet another way to take advantage of the data that you're getting. And we didn't even come up with this. One of our users came, but you can just see why it would work. Remember, it's not about predicting. And of course, you can get in and out multiple times. That's what happens with volatility. You can short something, it runs up, you get in, and you try to hold on, but then it can come all the way down. I mean, volatility is something that is real. This is what life is about. But when you are driving with this kind of navigation, you are at a completely different level, because think about where you are and the decision tree that you're making here in terms of, you're not even worried about the stock symbol, right? Because the AI is telling you which symbol. You've got the direction. The AI is telling you that. It's telling you which way to go, where you're really, what you're doing is you're the conductor. You're trying to figure out, okay, well, if I'm not in doing everything, which one of the symphonies am I going to participate in? And that does require risk. Ladies and gentlemen, my goodness, there's no such thing as riskless investing. You know that. And everyone's here because they know that. If you want to acquire wealth, it requires risk. So all of the trades that you see here, are entered and exited in one day. However, very, very important, however, every single trade that we have that's being selected by the AI uses long-term for the long side only. And by the way, Brad, we should probably make that as a disclaimer, at least until we ourselves know that the answer is right for the short side, but certainly for the long side. Every trade that we create is designed for long term. Not only that, but you guys can all see my graphs. This is something very important that we have just recently added. Let's go through. I'm going to let this thing surf for a minute. Notice the red line over here. This is what's called the swing exit. In other words, if you were getting into this and you didn't want to be a day trader, you wanted to kind of hold on for the longer term play, for the longer term support, every single chart on the daily is labeled. Look at this line. This is something else you are not going to get at any other vendor. Everything is automated. You see, our software is creating the right layout. It's creating the right view mode. You are not needed for that. That's just not what humans are good at. We've seen so many users' monitors, the kind of mess. I mean, Brad and I could joke to you about the fact that at one point in a day trading office, somebody was covering up a window with a sticky note. Brad, you know that's true.
Yeah, I didn't hear you, buddy. I was answering a question. Sorry. But yes, it's true.
I'm saying that we have seen the cases of windows being covered up by sticky notes.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It sounds crazy. So what you're seeing here, and notice that I'm not doing anything. The software is surfing you through the trades. So that's the other part of where we excel. We annotate things and let your eyes see things so that they don't have to make these exact judgments, but there is the part of your subconscious that does understand the pattern recognition. You're understanding what the AI is doing, why it's doing it. You're seeing, oh, this DVAX, what was it up to? It looks like it was trying to buy it. Okay, well, that makes sense. This ALDR, looks like the AI is into the buy zone on that one. Okay, I understand what it's trying to do. But some of them it sells. And again, remember, I'm looking at the daily. Obviously, it gets in and out of everything on the intraday chart. And here you can see, this is another example, Brad, where we are not afraid to show the fact that no technology is perfect. Here, it was breaking down and the AI thought it could have been a short signal, but that doesn't, like the AI doesn't have its feelings get hurt because it knows how to use proper management. Gets out, and then
well, it's that, and you also have to remember that during the course of the day, the market's doing certain things. It's not always in a bullish or always in a bearish, and sometimes it's anticipating turning around or doing something in that fashion.
So here it caught EXAS on the swing side from here to here. And by the way, these swing exits, they adjust. So this isn't just a static line that sits there. It's here, right here for today. That's not where this was when this buy signal went on. That was about over here. You know what I'm saying, Brad? I just want to make sure people understand.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point, guys, is we've taken it to a completely different level. It's like the matrix is unfolding right in front of your eyes. If you were spending time wasting your time trying to figure out a technical indicator or looking at something ridiculous like level 2. It's just that either you're going to have to spend, there are guys that I know that can trade off of level 2. They're ex-gamers. They're very good. But you sort of have to be born with it. It's like they say in football or track, you can't teach fast. You're either born with it or you're not. But the stuff that you can do is the stuff that we show here. Don't accidentally confuse yourself with a scalper.
Hey, dude, another thing, Dan, really to kind of keep it simple and utilizing the tech that we've developed here, like this EXAS, for instance, right? It's something that's top of mind today for us. It was a signal and it was generated, so we were watching it. But, tomorrow something may happen with it. And we do provide technology that allows you to keep these ideas at the top of your mind by setting price alerts so that if this stock here happens to go to 2020, tomorrow, we're going to be notified, it's going to be a breakout. The idea is,
there's so many ways. Number one, there's this way, the passive way. Hey, I like DAVX, just like a Twitter feed. Boom, you hit it the heart. Now it's on this channel. So this thing customizes your channels. The software works as you're sitting around. Like if you click on something and you look at WTI and you're like, dang, this looks good. Boom. Now on my specific channel, I go here, and I don't want to do it because it'll screw this whole view up, but it'll be there. So the software is smart. It follows you around, but not in that nasty Facebook sort of way. It does it in an automated, what good professional traders do way. We are the best at automating what good investors do. And that's why the industry hates us.
Do they hate us?
Well, it's just kind of good to say for the presentation. It works with the theme, Brad, keep it with me here, Brad. Don't fall off track, Brad. Scott's already crying. Give him a tissue. But honestly, though, why hasn't any technology vendor ever put it on the line like we have? Do you guys realize what we do here? We put it on the line, which brings me, oh my God, Brad, hold on.
You have a treat, right? Is that what this is?
Well, I do have a treat, but before I have a treat, do me a favor, Brad. We have something very exciting for people, and while I am getting our treat going, could you tell people about what the heck is going on here and some of the things that we've added? Entertain the people while I treat.
I don't know if I'm going to entertain you guys, but what we do, we try to do this every quarter, and that's to share the latest technology that we've been developing with not only new people that aren't really aware of trade ideas, but also our current subscribers that don't have the premium functionality. So I don't think we've changed the price. I think it's still $8.88, which just gets us through the administration and the exchange fees that we pay. But for that amount right there, you get access to the full Trade Ideas product, everything that the premium subscriber would have, and that's the AI, that's our back testing, that's the price alerts, that's all the alerts, the top list, the multi-strategies, the compare account, the single stock, everything that that we have inside of the Trade Ideas platform, which is really, you know, it's an idea generation platform. And then there's another tool component, if you will, that we have, which is called Brokerage Plus. And Brokerage Plus is a component that we've developed that integrates this idea generation capability of trade ideas with your interactive broker's account. So if you have Trader Workstation or you have the interactive broker gateway, then you can just go ahead and log in, drop your strategy into Brokerage Plus and have it auto trade for you, or trade very quickly with a right-click menu out of any of your Trade Ideas windows. So there's all the functionality that we have with respect to Trade Ideas that you can try for a week. So that's all I have for that. Dan, are you back? So yeah, it does. Does it include his blockchain? Good, Andrew. That's funny. All right. So it looks like you are bringing us the simulated portfolio, the historical. So we do provide the historical results through the client, through the right click in the AI window. But this right here gives you the ability to really slice and dice the data to hypothesize what the commissions would be, what your share amount or your trade size would be, and how you would have done trading the AI signals in either a risk off mode or a risk on mode, or like the more realistic scenario would be choosing various scenarios. So we have a best of as well.
But not only that, Brad.
What else you have for?
This is coming to you, kids.
What do you got?
On its way. Brad and I are wrapping. This is the cookie dough. Mmm, delicious. Let's talk about, hey, is this a nice sharp ratio? Does anybody know what that is even? Brad, do you know what a sharp ratio is?
No, don't make me answer that.
Oh, well, if it's 1, it's good.
12's better than 1, right?
A little bit. Okay, so let me just show you guys what you can do so we can play around with this. So soon you will be able to do this. Number 1, let's look at this. Beautiful little calendar thing. Let's go back to, Brad, are we in a time machine? How far back are we going?
You don't need to go past December 2015. I think that's when we kicked this.
Let's start January 2016 till today.
Your date didn't change. I don't think you clicked on a date, but
I can't believe it. Guys, this is so new that I don't even know how to use it. January 1, 2016. No filters on the cap. Let's take the best of risk on and risk off. Because, by the way, guys, when this thing goes full auto, that's what you're going to get. Right, Brad?
yeah, and that's what we do have plans. This has been in the works for some time, and it is our eventual plan to be able to automate the Holly strategies.
Notice, I mean, there's so many different things here, the SPY trade, I mean, things that we're working to see, data points, and all sorts of different things that you can do and see. But this is internal so far, but we share, so this is why you're here on the Q&A. I don't think even Barry's looked at this. Barry's like, what the hell are they showing? Barry's like, why am I not showing this? And we're like, that's right, Barry. Okay, so 200 shares, boom, boom, let's submit. We're going to start with a $50,000 account, minimum commission amount of $7, and that's our, kind of standard retail brokerage commission. Submit. Okay. So if you had done everything that the AI has told you since its beginning life with 200 shares and paid $7 commissions, this is kind of what it would have looked like. Lots of trading, of course.
And 2.5 years, to be fair, right?
Yeah, 2.5 years. So do you guys see what we are working with? Now, if you're talking about just this year, and of course, you'll be able to go and say, well,
got to pick a date. There you go.
This year, same thing. 45% success rate in real time, but the trades are so good.
God, what if you had cheap commissions?
What if you had cheap commission? Oh, we do have cheap commissions.
You're right.
Right, the commissions are the amounts you pay to the brokerage, but you guys have not seen this, and this is what we keep trying to tell you. This is your account. You started at 50. This is what you're doing with the spies. You bought the spies in another account because you hate us, and you want to prove to us that we're full of shit.
Maybe that's not why they bought it.
But it's not working because we're so good at what we do. We are the super stable geniuses of trade ideas. What's really cool, Brad, is that oftentimes people just come to these webinars and they don't always know what they're going to get. You know?
Heck, Dan, I don't know what I'm doing.
And it's so fun to give you guys new stuff because we're still as excited about it. Let's play a little, let's turn off the retail account. Let's create a hedge fund. Let's create a hedge fund with 10 million in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. By the way, that's how our programmers hate Brad and I. They make us count zero.
That's our punishment.
Yeah, that's our punishment, right? So in terms of fixed dollar amounts from the crowd, how much would a $10 million hedge fund invest in a position here? What is our fixed dollar amount?
$20,000.
Well, let's go, Brad. Let's do it from the audience. Why do we have to do it? This is what we have participants for. Come on, hedge funders. Okay, 25,000. I think Andrew just said what you said.
No, I didn't. I was a little lower.
Okay, 25,000. Thank you, Andrew. So we're putting $25,000 per trade. And our commission amount is going to be
Probably
per share.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to pay
That's a good
5
rate.
mils and minimum of nothing because we're institutional guys and we take our brokers out to nice restaurants
We have
and
6
whatnot.
left.
Marguerite, we'll get to yours too. Okay, so we're ready to rock and roll. So it looks like we didn't make enough money for it to matter at $25,000.
That's right.
Marguerite is right. Let's change our to 250,000. Now we're in business. So what's kind of cool, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is you get to, as you're seeing all of this, Brad and I were talking about, the computer will assist you in all of this stuff. Why do I have to guess what's the position sizing and all that kind of good stuff? This is, again, where data and the kind of analysis that is done at Trade Ideas on the server level really takes it to another level. You should be with us. Cannot say it any other way. If you're not with us, you simply are lacking the most advanced data mining and speculative human technology on the planet. We're not the NSA, we're good guys that designed speculative software for individuals. This is not for Steve Cohen. They wouldn't even know what to do with this. But you guys should. That's what this webinar is about. And the thing that Brad and I want to continue to communicate is that what you're seeing here on this page, this is slowly going to be morphed into the software where you will be able to do this in every aspect on the web, etc. So you can see the information better. There's a lot of stuff that's still missing. This is very early, but you can already see that what we do is working. That's all we have to show you. We have the data to prove it. Which is why, brings us back to the test drive. It's something that we do periodically, especially when we've been innovating at a quite fast level. Gives everybody a chance to try software for $8.88, and that's really not for the affordability, but for just commitment. Do it so that you commit and watch it and see why we are the best at what we do. We're like Wolverine, but a fintech. You can do everything on the test drive. AI, backtest, attend the webinars, etc. Not everybody is going to do it, but if you are on the edge, we have lots of other information for you to help you understand what's going on, and especially in this type of market. We have said, Brad, in the beginning of the webinar, what did we show in terms of if you're just throwing, you know, as our favorite executive managing partner says, if you're just throwing poop at the window, which direction are you throwing it, long or short?
You're going to go short.
Right. Why do we know that?
We ran the odds maker and we tested on a variety of scenarios, and granted you could do more, but in the scenarios we tested, it looks like short is a more frictionless way right now.
That's right. We're the best weathermen in the market. Therefore, we also have a book called 5 Ways to Win in a Post BTFD. That's buy the friggin' dip market. And again, it may continue, it may not, but you want to have the education to ready yourself. This is very good. It's been one of our more popular downloads. Can't say enough about Mr. Barry Anderson, who is not only in the room helping us with the questions and the answers, but does our trading room, which is in a state of exciting flux, Brad. We're working towards possibly integrating the trading room completely into the website and infusing it with our own data through some technology that we've been developing. But in the meantime, Barry is there every day from the open to almost the close, utilizing some of the best communicative skills I've seen in creating kind of like the real Bloomberg meritocracy for the active individual investor. It's not a pump and dump. It's one of the best places where you can see what's really being acted upon.
No, it's real guys trading and using the trade ideas tech to do it. I mean, it's exactly the experience that if you're wondering how trade ideas can help you, this is what you want to pop in on and check out.
And of course, it's free. This does not require any subscription service whatsoever. One of the ways that many people get started with trade ideas. All right, Brad, you knew it was coming. So look, ladies and gentlemen, what did we show you today? We showed you that we put it out there, meaning that we make calls and we contend with the consequences of the calls. We do it on the AI, and we do it in other ways. So because you are here, I wanted to give you an opportunity to show you how I am taking advantage of the potential demolishment of some of the biggest tech names in history. Facebook, Apple, Amazon, and Netflix. And Google will come to you as well if you follow me on my Twitter, which you will see at the end of the show. Okay, so this is all done for maximum exposure and finite risk. In other words, what I'm giving you is a way that you don't short stocks because that's so expensive and dangerous. But there is a simple way to kind of, if you were buying if you were spending $100,000 to really try to make $1 million, this is kind of the way I would be playing it. That's what I wanted to do here. Okay. This is my concept using options to play the downside of some of the bigger tech stocks. You have the symbol, you have the amount of the options, you have the month, the puts, they're all puts, and the price and how many. Okay? So that's what I wanted to do is today I wanted to not only just kind of, again, give you teaching, but copy this, take a picture. Well, this is being recorded, but this is a concept also that's kind of zero risk in the sense that it's finite, right, Brad? I'm not saying, hey, short Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Netflix, because if you do that, well, you could have losses equal to infinity as every one of them buys everyone else. And, you know, but this way, Brad, do you see what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
It's a simple and also shows you that we think about the bigger picture. You're here for not just a sales pitch. And again, this is for everyone, and it's just a concept that I came up with to show you that there is opportunities to do a lot of different things in the market, and just a question of, do you understand how to do it? And I want to show you that we lead by example. That's all. So this is the Super Stable Genius plan to play the downside of Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Netflix. We have a promo code for you for attending today's webinar that will give you 15% off of our first month or premium or standard. This is how much our software costs. Because we don't use anyone else's software, since we make everything ourselves, we are the most affordable technology on the planet as it relates to using artificial intelligence and helping people trade and test their ideas. So Spring for Holly, all caps, gives you 15% off a first month or year of premium or standard. So obviously if you're buying a year, you get the whole year off of 15%, but if you're only doing it monthly, then you get the 15% off of the first month. All the larger incentive, of course, is for the annual plan, but still, think about how much we cost per day, and it's silly. Myself and Jamie Hodge do a Friday Trade Ideas podcast where we explore all the rabbit holes of the stock market, get really, really deep into some of the stuff that you sort of heard about today. The chasing of the tail, how you have to open your eyes sooner than you think to really take advantage of the opportunity that's about to be upon us. So come join us Friday, please. We are very easy to get a hold of. In 2017, Brad, we cracked the Inc. 5000. Probably going to win this year.
Looking to move up, right, on the list?
I think so. Maybe win it. I wouldn't be surprised. Someone asked how much was our subscription real quick. I'll go back. So there's a subscription link right here. You can see all the prices. This is just the summary. So you know how much lunch and soda costs. I am at Trade Ideas 1. If you follow me on Twitter, you're going to see the last part of the Super Stable Genius plan to take advantage of the downside if it happens through my Google options play. That was the one that was missing. So that kind of like shorting the FANG stocks in essence. Very easy to get a hold of us, info@trade-ideas.com, or I myself am Dan at trade-ideas.com. All of us are around. Please like us on Facebook. Follow us on social media. We are very active. We talk a lot about all sorts of different things, and we showcase the platform because it speaks for itself. Scott, it seems like we have concluded this presentation. I think we've answered everyone's questions. Is there anything that I've missed?
No, it sounds good. Just if anyone has any questions, send those emails to info@trade-ideas.com, and remember to sign up for the test drive. If you're not yet a premium member, it is your opportunity to try everything. trade-ideas.com/test drive.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Bye.